everyone. Namaste. I'm Jill Loftis of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your June 2022 Planetary Energy Forecast. So as we enter this month, we're still coming off of the Mars and Jupiter conjunction, the connection between the two of them as they came together in the sign of Aries. This is beginning to separate as we enter this month, but it's still going to be in play for a week or two. I would just, we have become aware of how that is unfolding individually and for the collective in the Aries area of our chart. So high vibe the Aries by taking action. Stay away from low vibe Aries, anger, violence, things of that nature, right? Jupiter is a natural amplifier of the Mars energy. And so Mars is going to move on from that. We also still have to deal with a little bit of the Mercury as it's backing up, is coming back into that little bit of a difficult angle with Saturn. Now, it is not going to be exact, but for the first 2 weeks of the month, at least the first week of the month, we're still going to be kind of in that vibe of having to have these hard conversations again, things that you thought you dealt with. Didn't I respond to that? Didn't we agree on that? Didn't we sort that out? Right, from the Taurus Gemini area to the Aquarius area. So keep that in mind as you're moving into the beginning of the month. Now I'm simplifying this video. I've got a much more detailed blog posted on the website, so do check that out if you want more information about like the moon each day and what it's up to, things like that. But for this forecast, I'm going to simplify matters and kind of stick to the main aspects. I feel like it's been overwhelming for me to film. And I feel like it's probably overwhelming for you to listen to, especially since I'm breaking it down every week. So let me know how this new format goes down in the comments below. All right, so let's talk about the astrology. We've got on June 3rd, we have Mercury going direct. It is at 26 degrees of Taurus. And so again, but we're still like in this kind of push-pull with the Saturn. Now it doesn't actually go all the way out of shadow until the 19th of June. So even though it's it might be you're starting to get a little bit more flow as far as communication and things like that, it still has to get back to where it went retrograde, which is not till 4 degrees of Gemini. So that's not until later in the month. But hopefully you'll begin to feel a little bit more ease. I don't know about you, it's been challenging. Interesting, educational, as I like to say. All right, so another thing to pay attention to is that Mercury is going to be really amplified by the fact that the very next day we have Saturn stationing retrograde. Now it's so interesting, this month is very much things start slowing down. At the end of the month, Neptune also retrogrades, and keep in mind with these slower moving planets, you're going to want to take note of the date, and on that day symbolically what occurs. Oh, so Saturn's in Aquarius. In the Aquarius area of my chart, whoa, what might I have to restructure? What might I have to think about? What did I think was kind of had stabilized, but yet now there's new things coming up, right? So pay attention to this. It's at 5:47 p.m., 25 degrees of Aries. And so take a look at where that area is in your chart. There might be extra adulting that you have to do. All right. Then I'm also going to take note on June 5th of a moon aspect. This is the moon in Leo. It's going to be across the sky from Saturn, right as it has gone stationed and started to move backwards. And when the planets are moving really slow like that, it takes the engagement times are a little bit longer. So the moon is going to come across the sky from it, right? So there's this opposition tug of war. But while they're doing that, they're both going to square the nodes. So it's going to be like a big square in the sky. And the nodes have to do with very fated, very cosmic, karmic, more collective energies. And remember that the nodes are in, I got a cat. Say hi, Gemini. The nodes are in, the North Node is in Taurus and the South Node's in Scorpio. So think about how those areas of your life need to be reformed, right? Moon in Leo has a lot of big feelings, wants some attention to be paid to those intuitive hits across the sky from Saturn, which is saying, hey, just strengthen this area up and I'll leave you alone. So pay attention to that on the 5th. All right, another interesting day is June 8th. So we're gonna have the moon in Virgo, sending a beam of energy up to Mercury in Taurus, still just starting to get direct, and then down to Pluto in Capricorn, and then over from Pluto to that moon. So just this big triangle sky in the sky, a flow of Virgo up to Taurus, down to Pluto. So think about how you can kind of harmonize those 3 areas of life. Some real beneficial energies may come through there. Okay, don't let go of the good stuff, because boy, we've got to maximize the good stuff because of the challenging aspects that we have coming. Yeah, we're still working through. All right, so June 11th, Venus conjunct Uranus. So if depending on how your Uranus transit has been, Venus conjunct Uranus could be pretty sexy, could be really insightful, really positive. I would imagine there's going to be some big swings with the market, though. With Venus involved, sometimes that brings a lot of kind of bravado and hope and, oh yeah, it's going to be great. And then, you know, it can bring magical thinking. It's also going to be, as it conjuncts Uranus, the moon is going to be in Scorpio right across the sky. And so push, pull, and then it will hit the nodes right after that. Just a couple days after that, the nodes of fate. So watch, there's going to be some probably extreme swings in the market during these couple days. Just volatility. I would also expect a lot of volatility around resources and things like that, because that is also Venus ruled, Taurus ruled. And to have the North Node, Venus, and Uranus all in Taurus is going to bring a big focus to that area of life. All right. Now on the 13th, Mercury is going to go back into Gemini. It's still in the shadow, but it will lighten up the air a little bit, right? Things will get a little bit more light, a little more chatty, out of that kind of methodical Taurus thinking into just a little bit more possibility, which will be positive. Now, we've got a full moon on June 14th. It's at 23 degrees of Sagittarius. It's at 7:52 in the morning. It voids out after 10:48 in the morning on the East Coast. So if you're doing a ritual to honor this moon, I would do it either in that earlier space or later in the evening. It comes, the moon goes into Capricorn at 6:14 p.m. So comes out of that void space. Now that moon void, full moon, marvelous meditative time. It does have a little difficult aspect to the Neptune, though. So it could be really a delusional kind of full moon. On that same day, also, we have Mars meeting Chiron in the sky, both at 15 degrees. I feel like that's a little bit of a malefic connection, kind of like the warrior being very wounded. And, you know, just like if you think of a wounded warrior, what does he do, right? He lashes out, right? He puts in the last fight. And so this moon could be a little bit tricky, especially with the ruler of the moon, which is Sagittarius, right? It's a Sagittarius full moon. The ruler of that moon is Jupiter, and Jupiter is in the Aries. So typically full moons, I'm all about, you know, ritualizing, doing this, doing that. I feel like this one almost has the energy. It's not an eclipse, but it has that kind of wonky energy of like a, nah, maybe not big rituals or anything like that. A little bit more of just a blessing and honoring and completion of Sagittarius lessons in some way, and then just kind of hanging on to what could be going on with that 15-degree Aries Mars Chiron. Now, this would be high-vibed Mars Chiron by taking action to heal yourself, taking action, taking responsibility for your own healing. You know, low vibe again, anger, violence, people pointing fingers, blaming others, not taking personal responsibility for what's going on. All right. Now, June 16th is the Venus connection exactly to the North Node, and keeps in mind that that means Venus is right across the sky from the South Node. And so there's going to be that underworld pull to the Scorpio, so make sure to high vibe the Taurus. And I mean high vibe the Taurus, like good positive management of resources work, strong, be steady, enjoy life. You know, find the good things, enjoy the simple things, but don't be lazy. All right, there could be a real like just kind of, I don't know, lack of clarity. The moon hits Pluto that day as well, and then there's another that is square to the Neptune. Let's see, Sun active trine Saturn, and the Sun squares Neptune, right? So the moon squares Neptune the day before. Now the Sun is going to square Neptune. When I looked at this on the chart, all I could think of was cultish vibes, like very cultish vibes. I really feel like this is going to be very kind of a divisive. I mean, how could we be any more divisive right now, right? But I see a little bit more rigidity of people really sinking in, and it is important to note these patterns because, of course, they repeat, right? All right, Mercury comes out of the shadow zone on June 19th, yay, and the sun goes into Cancer. And when the sun hits 0 degrees of Cancer on the 21st, that is what we call the summer solstice. So summer solstice, we've got a Venus in trine to Pluto, which is nice, and then Moon connecting with Jupiter and sending a nice blessing to Mercury. It's a nice day. It's a positive day to think about auspicious changes. I would totally do a fire ritual that day. I think it's definitely a time to honor what that Cancerian energy means. You know, honor home, honor family, honor the mother, honor the moon. A beautiful day for those types of things. And then Venus is going to change signs. She is going to move into Gemini, and that is a very flirtatious Venus. It's a very talkative Venus. I love Venus in Gemini. It is my natal. But the moon in Aries is going to hit Mars, and so that's an amplification again of that broken, wounded warrior energy. It's still not right with the Chiron, but it's still close enough that you have to watch that amplification of those lunar feelings, especially when the sun is in a moon-ruled sign, right? The sun is in Cancer, big in the fields. So paying more attention to the moon when the sun is in Cancer makes sense. So be very cautious. The morning of the 23rd, the moon in Aries is going to square Pluto in Capricorn, with the moon still close to Mars. That is a potential violence aspect, which unfortunately seasons the entire last part of this month. I would say from the 22nd on through the end of the month, you must be cautious, you must be careful, all right? Now the 28th, overnight, at 3:55 a.m. Neptune stations retrograde, all right? And so that is a big slowdown in the sky. So know where 25 Neptune, 25 Pisces is in your chart, because that's where it's going to stop, make the little timestamp, and begin to journey backwards. That is also that day, that evening, at 10:52 p.m. We've got a new moon at 7 degrees in the sign of Cancer. So this is a wonderful new moon for thinking about how are you going to nurture, how are you going to what's your emotional body like, how do you fulfill that, how do you feel more emotionally whole, how do you mother, how do you nurture, how do you caretake, how do you take care of your community, your world. You know, I can see really being a beautiful day to ritualize maybe care and keeping of the earth, our mother, right? We do have to watch the sun and moon when they come together like this. They're going to square Jupiter. So, you know, keeping in mind that there's this kind of Jupiter wants to go, right? It's in Aries. It's like, and instead we've got this like, well, come on, what about everybody else? Like, we have got to take care of everybody. So I think that is something to really think about as you're moving into that day. All right, just making a note here. All right, and then now we've got that Mars in Aries moving into that exact square with Pluto in Capricorn. All right, I really find this to be a difficult energy, especially because as you get to the 30th, the moon is going to pick up, and so then you're going to have Pluto up there going retrograde, 26, 27, Capricorn. See? Even Pancake the chicken is upset about this. Pancake. I hope you can hear me. So we've got that Pluto across the sky. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I'm doing it right. Yeah, Pluto across the sky from the moon in Cancer. All right, so here's Pluto, here's the moon, and then we've got the Mars in Aries picking up a square to both. Okay, so not only do we have the opposition, but they're each going to square the Mars. This is a violence aspect. This is arguments, fighting. I don't know how to high vibe this other than to stay safe, to vibrate in a way that you are not resonant with that violence, with that anger. all the way up into the beginning of the first week of July. Passions are going to run deep. Here comes the rain. So be careful. Be careful. I don't know what else to say to you. Slow down, right? Listen to your intuition. If something is telling you, no, don't go here, don't go there, don't do this, don't do that, then don't do those things. All right? I hope this was useful, helpful, my friend. Namaste. Bye. Hi there, everyone. Namaste. I'm Jill Loftis of Nuit, Astrology. I'd like to welcome you to your Planetary Energy Forecast for the month of June 2022. So, as in proper Mercury retrograde fashion, this is the second time I have filmed this because I completely left out the new moon at the end of the month. I also have set up here in the front yard near the chicken coop because I have a baby bear that has been coming up to the coop. I have set up a motion sensing rainbird to spray it off, to scare it off. So if you see a bear come up behind me, I'll have to pause the video and deal with that. So part of the intriguing times that we live in, this is a good way to burn off the karma, right? If the worst invader in my life is a baby bear. All right. As I always mention, please, it's starting to rain.